We have been watching the HVAC at Wellwood for a couple of years, primarily because it's an aging system. Building was built in 1933. The system has outlived its useful life, and we need to make some decisions on what it is we do about that.
We're really in a situation where we've got to do the right thing. It's not that a new steam leak is imminent right now, but we don't. The problem with this issue is we don't know when the next steam pipe is going to fail.
Wellwood is a bit different. Our other buildings built in the 50s and 60s or 70s did not have the amount of asbestos that Wellwood has. And therefore, we have to be very cautious about how we proceed with this.
Anytime the district is going to do work in our building, asbestos is always an issue. Obviously, safety is always our #1 concern, and the district takes that very seriously, but that's always a concern for me. What are we going to get into with, tiny projects? The wireless project, they weren't able to install wireless hubs in our classroom because asbestos was an issue.
You walk into Wellwood, you're walking into an older facade. You start looking at the classrooms and you can see where you got old plaster walls that have cracks in them and stuff like that. You can't necessarily fix them on a routine basis. Again, you got to be concerned about what's farther in the walls for asbestos.
That asbestos right now is behind the walls. It's not hurting anybody. If we decide to go forward with a project where we have to drill into the walls, that asbestos will be released. Therefore, students will not be able to stay in the building. This is presenting a real dilemma for us.
So we're trying to be proactive now before any other failures occur. Because if there was a failure to occur in a place that was tough to get to, and there was asbestos that we had to get through in order to get to that problem, then we'd be looking at a very difficult situation in terms of where to educate children.
There are a number of issues with Wellwood. We mentioned the asbestos. Then we take a look at classroom size and space and its flexibility. There is very little flexibility in the space in our classrooms. Then we also take a look at the cafeteria and and our music program, which is in the basement. Less than optimal for our students.
The building itself is just very challenging for anyone who requires the use of an elevator, to access different floors in the building, but also the new addition, students actually have to travel in the elevator, get off the elevator, go to a lift to get to the lower parts of the building. So just the time that it takes to get from one part of the building to another for some of our students is extremely challenging.
The 1930s portion of the roof, to the best of my knowledge, is original. There is a concrete deck underneath it. It has many old ventilation shafts coming through it. It's starting to do leaks in various areas because of its age. Well, the windows are more than 30 years old. They're single pane. We have had issues with them in the past that no screens, so we have to provide screens for the rooms. They're not fixed into the window because you can't open and close them with the screen in them, so we have to take them out every time and put them in. And the upper 2 floors of Wellwood are very hot in the summertime.
This past September, we actually gauged that we had classrooms that were 88 degrees, and that's on the 3rd and 2nd floor, and it's just very difficult for students to focus on their learning when the temperatures are that warm.
We truly want our community to be aware of what our concerns are with Wellwood. We want the community to know that we have looked carefully at the building and we've been given a report on what it is we need to do, which is to replace the HVAC. We also want the community to know that it could be a lengthy project. We want the community to know how much it will cost. And we want the community to know that we're also looking at all of the options in front of us. This is going to take some time. So we're beginning by framing the problem, letting the community know that Wellwood needs a new system. The replacement of the system could be very problematic for us, and that we are studying all of the options that we have. Our next phase is to go to the community with all of this information and ask the community to join us in discussing what it is they feel and we feel would be the best way to handle the situation at Wellwood.